The Lotus Sutra is a very important classic within the Mahayana Sutras in Buddhism. The Buddha himself referred to the Lotus Sutra in the scriptures as the foremost among all sutras, the king of all sutras. So what exactly does the Lotus Sutra teach? Why is it so important? In Buddhism, why does it hold such an important position? The Buddha himself said it is the foremost among all sutras, the king of all sutras. So this is the question we need to pay attention to. In this classic, the Buddha mentioned all his previous teachings. He said that the Shravaka vehicle, the Pratyeka Buddha vehicle, and the Bodhisattva vehicle are all expedient means. He said that sentient beings cannot attain liberation within these three levels of Buddhist teachings. Ultimately, they can only attain liberation within the one Buddha vehicle, and finally achieve ultimate liberation. Why did he say this, or why didn't the Buddha tell us this from the beginning, but instead taught so much about the Shravaka vehicle and Pratyeka Buddha vehicle, teaching so many levels? Why didn't he tell everyone this directly from the start? Why is the Lotus Sutra so important? Because it expresses the most important viewpoint in Buddhism, that all sentient beings are originally Buddhas, that the original nature of sentient beings is Tathāgata. This viewpoint is extremely important. If this viewpoint is not revealed, if this viewpoint is not spoken, it means the Buddha has not appeared in the world. Because in the Dharma realm, only the Tathāgata has realized this viewpoint. Only the Tathāgata has realized this definition. No other sect, no other master, has stated this definition. No religious leader sits here and says, you and I are equal. You and I are the same. You are me. All religious masters say, you can merge with me. With my blessing you can attain liberation. Or they say, I created all things. And so on. Only Shakyamuni Buddha tells you that your original nature is no different from mine. Throughout the entire Lotus Sutra, this one viewpoint is being explained, especially for all those who practice the Buddha Dharma. Understanding this viewpoint is extremely, extremely important. The Buddha said in the scriptures that among all Buddhist practitioners, among the great Bodhisattvas, walking the Bodhisattva path, if you have not heard this viewpoint, then your Bodhisattva practice is incomplete. Your Bodhisattva path is incomplete, and you cannot achieve accomplishment. In the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha used an analogy. It's like a person digging a well. When he sees dry soil, he knows the water is still far away. When he sees stones, he knows it's getting close. When he sees mud mixed with water, he knows the water is just below. All sentient beings on the Bodhisattva path, all practicing sentient beings, when you hear the Lotus Sutra, you are close to supreme perfect enlightenment. You have dug down to the water and mud. So where else is the importance of this viewpoint? Actually, the Buddha said one thing in the scriptures. Wherever the Lotus Sutra exists, we should build stupas and make offerings, because the Tathāgata is sitting right there. Why is this so? Because each one of us has a copy of the Lotus Sutra within. In your own mind, you are originally Tathāgata. In your own mind, each person has a copy of the Lotus Sutra. So each of you should build stupas and make offerings, should dignify your own Dharma body, should overcome your own habits and desires, and return to your own Dharma nature. In the scriptures, Shakyamuni Buddha said that, for all Tathāgatas, wherever the Lotus Sutra exists, that place is the Bodhimanda place of enlightenment. Moreover, all Tathāgatas transmit the Dharma at this place, turn the Dharma wheel at this place, propagate the Dharma at this place, enter parinirvana at this place, and achieve supreme perfect enlightenment at this place. Only at this place can one achieve supreme perfect enlightenment. Only within your Dharma nature there is no other place that can enable you to achieve supreme perfect enlightenment. Not in India, not in China, but within your own mind. This place is the Lotus Sutra. Each person has a copy of the Lotus Sutra here. The Lotus Sutra is nowhere else. This classic, the Lotus Sutra, is divided into 28 chapters in total. A Bodhisattva recorded the content of a Buddha's Dharma assembly in 28 sections and chapters. This is the Lotus Sutra. Let's look at what this Lotus Sutra is actually teaching. From what angle the Buddha expounds and interprets his viewpoint. Now let's divide it into several parts so everyone can understand briefly. Because many people haven't seen the Lotus Sutra, some people haven't read it. So let me explain briefly. Ping is a unit to distinguish it from ancient chapters or chapters in novels. So Buddhist sutras all use ping, not zhang chapter. So these 28 pings means 28 chapters. When this Bodhisattva recorded the Dharma assembly, the Lotus Dharma assembly, when recording the Buddha's teachings, his perspective was standing within the Dharma realm looking, so his angle standing there was different. So when he recorded it, the sentient beings participating in the assembly numbered in the hundreds of billions. So this is beyond our imagination because it's a Mahayana Bodhisattva, standing from the Dharma realm's perspective to view the Lotus assembly. So there were very, very many sentient beings participating in the assembly. So in the scriptures, many of the supernatural transformations are things that beings in the human realm sometimes cannot see without spiritual powers. So sometimes it exceeds our comprehension. The origin of the assembly, let's talk about it briefly. The origin of the assembly is that there were many sentient beings listening to the Dharma there. And then the Buddha taught the Sutra of Infinite Meanings. After finishing, the Buddha entered the Samadhi of Infinite Meanings. This Samadhi is a meditative state of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So what state exists in this meditative state? It means that many Bodhisattvas in this Samadhi state can manifest supernatural transformations, then go to various dimensions to universally liberate sentient beings, performing liberating activities. This is called the Dhyana Samadhi, the Dhyana Samadhi state of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So now the Buddha, at the Dharma assembly, after teaching the Sutra of Infinite Meanings, entered this Samadhi state and then manifested supernatural transformations. What supernatural transformation did he manifest? Between his eyebrows there is a white tuft, a white circular tuft of hair, and from there he emitted a white tuft light, which illuminated 12,000 Buddha lands in the eastern direction. All the sentient beings, all the realms, and all the forms of those 12,000 Buddha lands appeared within this white tuft light. This supernatural transformation allowed all the sentient beings at the assembly to see. Whether you participated in the assembly or not, whether you had spiritual powers or not, you could all see these worlds within this white tuft light. The Buddha manifested such a supernatural transformation while in meditation. At the assembly, there were many great bodhisattvas and many disciples, some just beginning to study Buddhism, some who had attained arhat fruition as well as heavenly beings, the 8 classes of dragons and spirits, flying beings, and many sentient beings. Some sentient beings did not understand. The Buddha was not speaking after teaching the Sutra of Infinite Meanings. He was just sitting in meditation and manifesting a supernatural transformation. So doubts arose. At this time, Maitreya Bodhisattva wondered, the Buddha has entered meditation. Whom should I ask? And why does the Buddha want to manifest this supernatural transformation? Then he thought of Manjushri Bodhisattva, knowing that Manjushri is very wise and must understand. So he went to ask Manjushri Bodhisattva why the Buddha manifested this supernatural transformation. Through this light, one could see the various situations of the world, mainly the life and the rebirth of sentient beings in the 6 realms, and also how each Buddha in each Buddha land universally liberates sentient beings, teaches the Dharma, and enters nirvana. All of this, the propagation and the transmission of the Buddha Dharma, could be seen within the light. Then, Manjushri Bodhisattva told a story from the distant past. In ancient times, there was a Buddha called Sun Moon Lamp Buddha. Before entering nirvana, this Buddha also taught the Sutra of Infinite Meanings, entered Samadhi, and manifested the same kind of supernatural transformation. After emerging from meditation, Sun Moon Lamp Buddha taught the wonderful Dharma Lotus Sutra. So Manjushri Bodhisattva concluded that the Buddha was likely about to teach the wonderful Dharma Lotus Sutra, and he told this to Maitreya Bodhisattva. But there is an interesting interlude here. Manjushri told Maitreya that during the time of Sun Moon Lamp Buddha, they were both disciples. They both witnessed that Buddha emit light and teach the Lotus Sutra. Manjushri remembered it, but Maitreya had forgotten. Why had he forgotten? Because at that time, although Maitreya studied Buddhism, sought the Buddha, bowed respectfully, and praised the Buddha, his attachment to fame and gain was too heavy. Because of this, he was called the fame-seeking Bodhisattva. And although he studied Buddhism, by today he had forgotten what he learned. So, those of you sitting here, have you also forgotten? Perhaps your attachment to fame and gain has not yet been purified. This is what the scriptures say. The 2nd chapter begins with Shakyamuni Buddha emerging from meditation. After emerging from meditation, because the Buddha's teaching, he generally targets which realm of sentient beings to teach. Today I'm targeting which realm of sentient beings to begin teaching. So he targets that realm of sentient beings and then correspondingly tells you some viewpoints. Today he mainly targets the Shravaka vehicle. The Shravaka vehicle disciples are all his Arhat disciples, his human disciples, disciples in the human realm. He's not targeting heavenly beings. Because Shariputra, among his 10 great disciples, is called foremost in wisdom. So he addressed Shariputra saying, Shariputra, do you know, even if all the people in the world were as intelligent as you still could not fathom the Tathāgata's realm. Even if all people in the entire world and universe were as intelligent as you, Shariputra, you still could not use your consciousness and thought to discriminate the Tathāgata's spiritual powers and the realm of right mindfulness. You know, the Tathāgata has realized the highest, most rare Dharma in the entire universe. The Tathāgata has realized the world's most rare Dharma, a very rare highest Dharma. The Tathāgata has realized it. But what the Tathāgata taught before were all expedient means of the 3 vehicles. What I'm about to teach now, you probably won't understand. The Tathāgata has realized this realm. In this way, these Shravaka disciples were very puzzled. What's with Shakyamuni Buddha's teaching today? Self-praising, praising himself, saying the Tathāgata has realized the world's most difficult to understand rare Dharma, and you all can't understand it. Even all the Shravaka disciples in the entire world, the 2 vehicle disciples can't understand it. 2 vehicles refers to the Hinayana and Bodhisattva vehicles. You assembly sentient beings can't understand. I have a rare and difficult to understand Dharma, and moreover, the Tathāgata's right mindfulness, spiritual power realm, you fundamentally cannot imagine. So, these Hinayana disciples were very puzzled, saying, what's wrong with the Buddha today? Why is he saying this? Could it be that what you taught us before wasn't the Buddha Dharma? What have you realized that you're reluctant to bring out? Then what you taught before wasn't what you realized. Then why aren't you teaching it? Since you have the highest rare Dharma, why not tell us? Right? So Shariputra, representing the Hinayana disciples, asked, Buddha, what exactly have you realized? Tell us. Did the Shakyamuni Buddha say or not say, if I say it, I'm afraid of some truth some people will doubt and be alarmed. Instead, it will increase their psychological pressure or increase their doubts. So in this way, Shariputra kept asking 3 times in a row, saying, oh, please tell us. How can you not say? We will definitely listen. We have great faith in you. If you tell us, we will listen. Finally, the Buddha said, okay, since you keep insisting I say it, I'll say it. At this time, a very interesting phenomenon appeared at the assembly. At the Lotus assembly, 5,000 bhikshus withdrew from their seats. There were 5,000 bhikshus who got up and left their seats, not listening, and left. Why did they leave? Is less than #0. 5 is greater than, then the Buddha didn't come after them. The Buddha didn't say, oh, I'm teaching the highest Dharma, please sit down and listen. You all listen. It's such a pity if you don't listen. The Buddha wouldn't say this. The Buddha just watched them leave. Just watched them go off to cultivate arhat fruition. Then the Buddha said those remaining are the true ones. Let those chaff go. That's how it was. The withdrawal of these Hinayana disciples, actually we can understand, right? Like us, often when we're chatting, when teaching the Dharma, everyone often withdraws too. Because they have many thoughts. Because Shravaka vehicle disciples, Hinayana disciples, regarding spiritual power realms and such, consider them illusory. Spiritual power realms are like magic tricks, illusory. They disdain these things. They say the Buddha's realm is ridiculous, self-praising and displaying supernatural transformations. What's there to see? The Buddha just talks about these things. These are things only great Bodhisattvas study. We don't need to study them. We're going back to end birth and death. So they withdrew. There were also some Hinayana disciples who said, oh, what the Buddha said yesterday we still haven't understood, and today he's speaking too profoundly. We won't listen. They also went back to continue sitting in meditation. That is to say, they had various kinds of mental states. They couldn't abide in the present moment. They had past mind, future mind, and so on. So they didn't abide in the present moment at the assembly.